Hello, it's Dan the Real Estate Guy with a message to real estate guys and gals. This is for agents, this is for brokers. Perhaps you came across our membership website and you're wondering, what is this all about? All right, you might be exactly where I was in 1992. All right, I got caught up in listing and selling. It was never my intention, but I got caught up in listing and selling. I got pretty good at it. I left that part of the business after the last crash. All right, I was riding a galloping horse. I wasn't buying enough for myself, but I was doing a great job for other sellers, listing and selling properties. But imagine what it would feel like if you could control price and condition on every one of your listings, because that's what can happen to you if you can learn how to buy wholesale and sell retail. You are the seller. All right, you get to price the property, you get to put the carpet in, you get to control the list price on the way out. It's a really neat way to go. Imagine this, I went from having 20 to 25 listings all the time working for other people to switching gears, learning how to buy the properties and then have my own inventory. So imagine going from 22 listings on average to only 5. But the 5, I owned them. All right? I got to control the price and the condition. I mean, in a declining market, you had to have gone through this. Don't you get tired of asking for price reductions? And how about the folks who don't reduce? When the other properties around them reduce and sell, when they're the same model and the same tract, and they don't want to lower their price, what's their odds of selling? Especially when it moves away from them quickly like it did in this case. How about when they ask you, hey, you know, Mr. or Mrs. Agent or Broker, what could I do now that you've listed my property? What could I do to help this thing sell? And you find a nice way to say, well, it really could use carpet. It really could use paint. And they say, oh, you know, well, besides that, you know, I don't want to do that. How frustrating is that? Well, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, your appliances are pretty dated. You know, for $1,400 your house is probably going to sell. You know, just put new stuff in, make it look neat and clean and new, probably have a better chance. We don't want to do that. All right? They look at the comps and they still want to stay high. What's that all about? So imagine what it feels like to move away from that and have a smaller inventory, but you own and control every one of them. And you're probably already wondering, how the heck am I going to do that? I'm struggling just to make a living. I'm telling you there are ways to do it, and I'll teach you. Remember, I went through it. My income dropped, you know, each year, even though I was working hard as an agent to do the same number of transactions. My income went down. This time around, it has to be more dramatic. In the 90s, the market fell 24% in value. That's why my income kept dropping. I closed the same number of deals, but the prices were falling, and as you know, our pay was attached to the percentage of the sales price. So literally, my income was dropping at, about $20,000 to $25,000 a year, 3 years in a row. But I was working harder and harder and harder because you had to do more listings to get the same number of sales. You had to put more in escrow because people were walking away. I would get calls saying, you know, they can keep my deposit, I'm done. I found a better deal. The market was falling. So I did less deals but ended up making more money when I finally left listing and selling. I'm not saying you should leave. I made a choice that I was going to commit to it completely. At some point, I didn't like listings anymore that weren't mine. I actually gave my listings away. First thing I did, you'll appreciate this, especially if you went through some of the old training that I went through, I let them have a choice. Lower the price or cancel the listing. It wasn't going to do me any good to spend more money on marketing. All right? It wasn't going to do me any good at all. Their market was moving away from them. If they didn't go to the market, they weren't going to sell. It was pretty simple. You could do the same thing. Now, some of you have a great listing inventory, but you still feel this frustration a little bit. Properties are selling better in today's market than they were in the one that I was in, but the difference in price is dramatically more. You know, in my area, prices fell in some cases 50 to 60% from the top. I literally have closed transactions at $330,000 that somebody paid $670,000 for. I think my most dramatic example was I bought a house for $310,000 sold it for $475. Now I knew when I sold it for $475, probably it was worth $550. I sold it to some family friends. I thought it was worth $550 at least, minimum. Maybe it was worth $575. Doesn't matter. What matters is the property sold in January of '07 for $1.1 million. All right, so $1.1 million to $550,000. I sold it for $475 because, as you know, well, you don't know yet, but you're gonna know when you go through my videos, I'm always believe in win-win. In that case, I got such a fantastic deal on that property, and I can teach you how, that I could sell that property for $475, even though it was worth well over $500. Probably, I mean, a closed transaction of the same model with no pool closed around $530,000, right? And this one had a beautiful large pool and a pool house that was a builder option. Okay, so how much more was it worth than the one with no pool and no landscaping? Not sure, but I figure it's worth it. It was at least $550 at the time. It probably was $575. I sold it to him for $475 because I paid $310. It was a career best deal for me, profit-wise. I know that sounds like a huge profit, and it was, but not as big as you think. There's a lot of expenses in this business, and I'm going to teach that to the folks on the videos as well. All right, so imagine going from an inventory that you don't control, that you don't get to price, that you don't get to carpet, you don't get to paint, you don't get to landscape, you don't get to make that pretty for the market, right? Imagine going from that, and you're getting the phone calls, everything's your fault. You know how it is as an agent or a broker. Even the market moving down is your fault, right? You hear it all the time, right? Why aren't you selling my home? What are you doing? They want you to advertise. What are you doing for advertising? Yet they're priced $20,000 over the last sale of the same model. $30,000 over, whatever it happens to be. It's a little bit frustrating, and I just want to offer you a look into my window, a look into what I did in that situation. Doesn't cost you much to look, right? We're making a video training program available. You're going to move a little quicker than the average person on the street just because you have a little bit of real estate under your belt, just like I did. If you're a good listing agent, you probably know how to value property, and that's one of the keys to the program. I'm still doing transactions. I'm not one of those guys that's just going to teach and not do. That's not a good way to stay in touch with the market. I have a whiteboard behind that camera. I've got 17 transactions going right now. I own all of them. All right, imagine that. I don't have any listings working for somebody else, right? As a matter of fact, I don't even list my own with myself anymore. I have an agent that does them all at a reduced commission. He doesn't have to prospect for listings. I give them to him, right? It allows me to focus on what I do best. I'm not taking the calls from the agents. He's taking care of all that for me. All right, so I have 13 different ways that I'm going to teach to buy property below market wholesale. Some of them are not going to work in your marketplace right now, but may work pretty soon. Some are going to be active for you right now. All right, some of you are thinking again, how am I going to do that? I'm struggling just to keep my doors open, keep the business going. Well, again, I came from the same place. I'm going to teach you how to raise money through private investors. Remember, if you've got the knowledge and the know-how, the money is everywhere. All right, it makes sense. You're going to show them how you're going to protect them. You're going to show them how they're going to make money. You're going to show them how they get paid before you do, and that always the transactions are going to be win-win. If they're not win-win, you shouldn't be involved. So at this point, you can basically just improve what you're already doing, become familiar with what I do, and then how it can fit into your business. You can always provide the best product at the best price. We all know that's what you're trying to do already, but you're trying to convince a seller that they need to do that. Now, if you work a lot of buyers, think about it on the other side. If you're working a bunch of buyers right now, in my marketplace, it's probably similar to yours. Often a buyer will get beat out by somebody else. Often they'll try to buy a bank property where the bank doesn't want to do any work to the property and maybe not even make it past inspections. Or, more frustrating than bank-owned properties, is short sales. So often in my marketplace, they can't be delivered. They don't get approved. They take forever and a day to make a decision. Now, all that can change, I realize that, but that's the way it is. I'm just asking you to think about what would happen if you can buy a property while you're working with all those buyers and trying to get them lined up with a good property, make their offer win. What if you had a couple of your own? You know, I sell mine often before they even go in the multiple listing. I allow someone who's really frustrated that hears about what I do and they ask if I have a house in their price range. I let them see it, and when that happens, I let them know that there is no other competition for them. I'm going to let them look at the property. I'm going to give them time to decide, and I'm not on the market yet. It's going to go on the market in MLS at some point. Perhaps they hear of me while I'm still working on the property. This just happened. Happens frequently. I've got another one in escrow, same thing. Word of mouth gets out, you know, Dan just bought this property, it's like what you want, and somehow they get to me. I give them a great transaction. There's usually a credit involved if it's FHA, you know how it works. I help them buy the property. I help them be in a situation where they're not one of 5 offers or one of 3 offers or any competitor at all. They win, I win. If you were to do this and you have buyers you're working with, you already know what your buyers want. If you use one of my techniques to buy one low enough to where you can put it in shape, remember a lot of buyers, they can't bring their tools and their money to fix a property after they buy it. They want it to be ready to go. I provide a turnkey product, all right? If you already know you have a pool of buyers, you know if you can buy wholesale, put that property in nice condition, you're going to be able to sell it to one of your buyers. Now, what if you're a buyer's agent but you're a little frustrated, you don't have a big pool of buyers right now? What happens when you advertise one of these? All right, you get a lot of phone calls. You get a lot of phone calls. You can offer it slightly below market and top condition. It's like bees to honey when that happens. Now you've developed yourself a big pool of buyers to work with. While you're looking for your next transaction, you're going to be able to sell those buyers the homes that are in multiple listing now. You see, this program can only help what you already do. And that's why I have this message. I was where you are at one point. I've done hundreds now deals, over 1,000 transactions in my career now, 25 years, over 1,000 transactions. I only did 225 of those as an agent. All the rest, I was a principal. You know, really, really much more enjoyable. Much more enjoyable for me that way. All right? You can do the same thing. If you've got this message, you probably have a link to our membership website. It's very simple to join, and it's very inexpensive. It actually comes out to less than what you probably spend at Starbucks every day. It comes out to about $1.67 a day. I can do that because I'm still doing real estate. That's my main thing. I have 17 transactions going. When I was approached to do this video training program, I hesitantly decided to check it out. Because you see, I've been approached to do this teaching over the years many different ways. Seminars, books, what have you. Every one of those techniques would have taken away from my real estate practice. The reason that I'm going to go ahead and provide this training is because with the power of the internet, I can make it a win-win. You win because you get 25 years of my experience. You get to learn from what I do. You can learn from my past transactions. You can learn from my current transactions. When I go see a property for the first time inside that I just bought in a method that didn't let me see it inside first, you can see it with me in some cases. We'll bring the camera guy and we'll be in there together. We'll learn all the lessons of that, and I can provide all that while I still go about my business every day. All right? I don't have to fly to another city and go to a seminar room with you. That isn't happening. It could happen in the future, but I don't plan on that. What I plan on is to provide this training via the internet, video training. You can keep doing what you're doing. I don't want you to stop. It's tough out there. But you can learn this and add this as a tool to what you already do and improve your business. So you can go to the website, you can join up. It's only $49.97 a month. You can cancel at any time. Remember, it has to be win-win. If you're not winning after a month, you're not winning after a couple months. If you don't see yourself using these techniques to help your business, I want you to cancel. I only want people watching that want to use the techniques to improve their life, to improve their family's life. I mean, I've done it. Okay, we're not talking theory here, we're talking real. So take a look, join up, look at the videos, have fun with it. If you're already in real estate and you have some knowledge, still keep an open mind. You don't know everything. All right? If you did, you probably would have already been doing these things. All right? This stuff works. I'm working it every day. I'm having fun with it. It's provided a great lifestyle for me. I want to share with you, after 25 years, it's time. Because of the internet, I can share with you without stopping my business. So I'm looking forward to that. Get yourself signed up. It can be interactive at some point. You can email me questions. We're probably going to have some webinars coming up here for you as well. You can ask questions there too. But this is just one more tool to use after we had a boom and a bust. This is your opportunity. You're a real estate professional. You do not want to handle the best wealth building vehicle ever and not end up owning a bunch for yourself. All right? You can buy and sell to help your clients. You can buy and sell to attract more clients. And you can buy and hold, have properties that pay you every month for the rest of your life. All right? I still receive a nice large income from properties I bought in the 90s when I bought 150 properties. Very lucky that I was able to work my way into buying some large apartment complexes that should pay my family forever. All right? You can do the same. Start small, build big, whatever you want to do with this, set some goals and I'll make it happen for you. Actually, you'll make it happen. I'll help you. See you on the next video. Thank you very much.